This is UltraCycling Magazine, formerly known as the Ohio RAAM Show.
This is Jim Lawyer here, and there is Lee Kreider. How are you tonight, Lee? You're muted, Lee.
Got on the air pretty good, except me having my mic muted here.
There you go.
Yeah, and we want to just say a shout out to all our time stations for the Race Across America here in Ohio. 41 in Oxford, 42 in Blanchester, 43 in Chillicothe. They great people run these things. Jim's running them wherever he has to.
There you go. Exactly.
Identify any one of them. But and also to Mike Minium, our sign man, who people who come through here know put the signs out. We'll be talking about how you can help Mike and get a nice souvenir sign when you come through.
Definitely.
And give Mike a boost as well. And while we're at it, Jim, we want to thank all of our new followers on Facebook and new subscribers on YouTube. And be sure to follow us. Be sure to subscribe. And when you're on YouTube, what are we supposed to do, Jim?
I think we're supposed to do this. Ring that bell.
Ring that bell. And that'll make sure you get your notifications whenever we're on the air. We appreciate that. And that helps us get away. Hey,
definitely.
Something's coming back, I hear.
Yeah, we're going to actually do a giveaway tonight. We're going to do a giveaway of a new UltraCycling Magazine mouse pad. And if you're lucky, maybe Lee and I both will sign it. It'd be an original keepsake, just like our old Ohio RAAM Show ones are. So the way to do that is I'll have a banner up a little bit when we get started with our guest. You basically, when you comment in either Facebook or YouTube, just put a hashtag UCM. And that'll get you in the drawing at the end of the show.
UCM for UltraCycling Magazine?
There you go. Exactly, Lee.
Okay. Well, let's hope some people take advantage. I don't know how you could turn down a mouse pad from UltraCycling Magazine.
Definitely.
And, well, we've got a little business to take care of before we get to our guest. First of all, I was hoping to have our new reporter from Thailand, Air Wisra, on. She happens to have the flu.
Oh, no.
But she sent me a nice photo of her, and we look forward to having her as a reporter for Southeast Asia.
Definitely.
And so forth. And we got a bit of video, Jim, from Marek Rubinski,
yes,
Japanese Odyssey.
All right, we'll start that right now.
Hello, here is Marek Rubinski, UltraCycling. I am right now in the front of a shop where we are installing generator from my bike that will generate electricity to charge all of things, light, navigation, phone on my bike. In Japan, the race is self-supported, so I have to make sure I have constant access to electricity on my bike. Let's go to inside to see what does it look like. Hello, we are in service. Look, this is Dynamo. They make here is a stecker. I don't know what is the name in the English, but we have then access to electricity on my bike. This is a chef of service. They make this all things. What the Strom? Wie viel Strom haben wir kriegen wir von dieser Strecke? 3 Volt. 3 Volt. Yeah, we have 3 Volt of from this. Yeah. Yeah, and we have and we can make this for use to phone, battery, light front, rear. Okay, we are ready for Japanese Odyssey. 24 October, see you on Japan for UltraCycling magazine. Marek Krupiński. Bye. Hi.
Very good
Hello,
job.
here's Marek.
Well, and Joanna of the now famous Ask Joanna is going to do a
Yes.
little more on these hubs as soon as she can get to Benny's bike shop over there in Alclin and talk about a little more about explaining this. Might be something that more than a few of us would be interested in.
Yeah, they're a great thing. One of the guys on Ragbri that rode a tandem with us had one, and they loved it.
Well, Joe Barr is with us in form of a recording. So let's hear what Joe's got to say, and then
All
we'll give
right.
you a little update on his physical situation.
Here we go.
Hi everyone, Joe Barr here. I'm sure most of you would recognize me better if I was in race kit, but for today I'm here as president of the World UltraCycling Association, and that's a role that I'm very privileged and honoured to have at this time. I'd like to say a big thank you to Lee Crider and Jim Lawler for this little window of time to talk to you. I'm also very indebted to Lee and Jim for how they actually showcase the world of UltraCycling. They do a tremendous job. And again, I think not unlike WACA, I think most of us don't realise that that's a non-profit organisation, the same as us. So thank you both for all of those efforts. It's greatly appreciated. The main reason that I'm here is that I want to talk to you about the World UltraCycling Association. As I've said, we're a non-profit organisation, and we have just finished our footprint into the fourth continent. So the World UltraCycling Association is now represented in all 4 continents. That's a huge number of countries and a very large community of people who all love ultracycling. I think at this point in time, I'll just give you a little overview of where we have actually arrived at. We've come through a very challenging time with our website, simply because it was so important that we actually captured all of the back office data that has accumulated over so many years. That has been a very big challenge, both from a time point of view and from a cost point of view. But we're almost there, and certainly by 2024 we will have a very nice optical window for you to look into in relation to our website. The most important thing is that we have now finished a structure of challenges, competitions, championships, right up to a world championship level. So we have provided a platform for everyone to get recognized and for everyone to log their achievements. We also have enhanced our records department, where we have now partnered with the Guinness World Records, and getting the accreditation with that has been also a great boost for WACA. Unfortunately, one of the downsides to what we're doing is we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. Every board member of WACA provide their time and their expertise for no return. So that's limited. And to move forward, for our sport to be sustainable, for our sport to get showcased in the way that we need it to be showcased, we need more members. So that's my job. My job is to ask if you would consider, if you're not already a member of WACA, if you would consider joining, and if you are a member of WACA, if you would consider renewing your membership. Currently, as we stand here in October 2023, for anyone who wants to join for 2024, join now, and that membership will be extended straight through to the 31st of December 2024. We need help to build the sport together. We all, if we wish this sport to have longevity, need to act now. The sport is changing, the world is changing, how we need to behave within the sport and in the world needs to get restructured. And as I say, I'm going to emphasize the fact all of this is non-profit. This is not for financial gain, not for commercial gain. This is for the sustainability of the sport. and I would ask you for your help. The sport has been fantastic for me. I'm trying everything that I can to put back what I have received out of it, and I'm asking for your help to do that. And I also pledge that on my behalf, I will do everything in my power to ensure that your support will be deliberated in a way that reflects longevity for the sport. Go to worldultracyclingassociation.com and click on new membership.
That was a
Thank you.
great talk by Joe.
Hi, everyone.
That was great. Are you muted, Lee?
No, I'm not
No,
muted.
okay.
It's going again here.
Oh, no, not here.
Okay, he's running again here, and I don't know. There we go. He
Okay,
finally quit.
Okay, yeah.
Still got a few little glitches here. But yeah, thank you, Joe, for those kind words. And I renewed my membership this week to UltraCycling, and ultracycling.com's the thing. If you can't remember that, just go to the descriptions here in the video, and there's a link there to the World UltraCycling Association. Now, Jill sent me a little update on Joe after his accident. He did damage his pelvic, but it does not pelvis area, but it does not require surgery. And they're happy about that. And he's getting some hyperbaric treatment. He's home, of course, and working on a new training bike. So he hopes about maybe be back on it before the end of the season. So we hope that's the case.
Definitely. And we wish him the best of luck getting better as quick as he can.
And sorry about the audio level being a little low there on Joe. We're still learning what kind of levels we need on these things so that we get a good, clear recording. And this was a great learning experience tonight.
Definitely.
Hey, next week, Jim.
Yes, we have
Megan Hakkinen. Back on the show for I don't know how many times.
Yep. Awesome guest. Awesome cyclist.
Guest.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, there isn't any kind of UltraCycling you can name that she hasn't done and excelled at it.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't care if it's off-road, on-road, supported, unsupported, time trials, randonneuring. It just doesn't matter. She does well at it, and she just puts one event together right after without any recovery, it seems.
Yes, amazing.
So we're always glad to have it. And she's got a new book, so we'll be helping her sell her new book a little bit there.
Excellent. Great.
Jim, it's time to get our guest here. We've put it off long enough.
There you go. Let me bring them up. There we go.
Hi, Ed. Abdella down there, where are you, Meridian, Mississippi?
Yes, sir. Meridian, Mississippi.
Okay, great. And before you get any further, why don't you just go around there and point to them and tell us who they are. I guess these are your crew members.
All right. Yes, sir. So this is Clint Blackwell. He's one of the crew members, has been with me for a long time. Chief mechanic, and obviously, well, I can't live without him. That's for sure. Behind me is my son, Hayes, my sweet Kathy Parrish, and this is Bailey Googe. We teach together, and she's agreed to come on RAAM as part of the crew. It'll be her first.
And we got somebody else here on another location.
Yeah, in Wyoming is going to be my crew chief, Kevin Brooker, and he'll be bringing his wife, Jill, who will be my nurse and nutritionist.
Very good, very good. Well, let's just start out by asking you how you got into cycling, how you got into UltraCycling, and how you managed to qualify for RAAM. Give us a little background.
Okay, so I've been riding since I was about 14, racing on some, club teams and whatnot. In fact, Kevin and I raced together for probably about 3 or 4 years when I was up in Connecticut. And then I left for the military and kind of dropped the bike, picked it up again when I went to college. That's back in the late 80s for probably about 10 years. Maybe more like 5. And when I moved to Mississippi for my teaching job, I just started running. And so I did a lot of like half marathons and whatnot. and just kind of laid the bike down. I was still in the Army Reserves, and when I came back from Iraq, I noticed that my back was tweaked, and so continued to run. And then I realized as I started getting older, my back was hurting more and more. And so about 6 years ago, one of my dearest friends, Dr. Azor Pasha, who sponsors most of these rides for me, uh, is a pain medicine doctor, and gave me some back injections and kind of cleared up some of that problem. And but also told me that my running days were over. So I started riding my bike, and it just kind of blossomed from there. You know, a lot of people that ride, they'll do, you know, metric centuries and centuries, or they'll do criteriums. I'm not good really at any of those. I'm never going to hit a podium. I'm not fast enough for those type of races. I think my fastest time for a century was 5 hours and 43 minutes. Um, you know, so, or no, I'm sorry, 4 hours and 43 minutes, which is still good, but
Definitely.
you know, nothing to hit podiums. And I started looking into some of the ultra cycling. I actually saw a video of RAAM, and it was an actual, it was the movie, and I forgot the name of it. But anyways, Dr. Breedlove and
Mm-hmm.
all these other
Wow.
guys, Yuri Robrick, um, uh, Miss Hogan, the Queen Bee, and I was just amazed with the amount of miles they were putting in every day. And this race just intrigued me. So I started looking around. I actually joined Randonneers. Kevin turned me on to Randonneers, said, you need to join this club and find those races. But one of the races that popped up was the Natchez Trace 444. George
Mm-hmm.
Thomas, the voice of RAM,
Mm-hmm.
sponsors that race. He's the race director, and it's a qualifier for RAM. So in 2020, we went down and did it. I did it again in 2022, and I just completed in 2023, just a couple of weeks ago. So that's how I qualified for RAM.
Excellent.
I think we want to, before we get any further, talk about your charity because this is an important part of why you're here. And let's get on to that, and we can get back to some of this other stuff in a moment. You have an extraordinarily high goal for fundraising for your charity, and tell me what it is.
Okay, so we're riding for Hope Village. Hope Village is a children's home
Mm-hmm.
for Mississippi children. Sheila Ward is a Meridianite, and went on to achieve greatness through, you know, through her acting. And she came back, and she's one of those people, just like all the people here in the South. They come back home and they give, and so she found a need
Mm-hmm.
to put together a home for children, and she started it about, it's been 20 years now. And you know, right behind me is Kathy Parrish. She's actually one of the she works out there, and I'm going to let her tell you more about exactly what they.
Okay. Well, get her up there in your chair
Yep.
so we can see her and hear her better,
Front and center.
front and
Woo!
center.
Surprise!
And want you to know, Kathy, that no guests have ever been hurt from being on this show.
Well, that's good to know. No, I work for Hope Village for Children. I've been there about four years,
Mm-hmm.
and we are a nonprofit, 501c3 charitable organization. As Ed told you, we were started by the actress Sheila Ward and her husband. We serve all 82 counties in Mississippi, so we serve the whole state, even if we're located in Meridian. But we also serve a much bigger picture and need for our country in foster care, and that is we take care of children who are in the custody of child protection services, and they basically have no family. They've been taken from their home. So they've all suffered neglect, abandonment, abuse, trauma, and they basically have no one. And so Hope Village becomes a safe, secure home for them, and we become a family for them.
Mm-hmm.
And we help these children heal and transform from their trauma, and hopefully get them to a place, as our tagline is, lead them to a place where hope is born. and get them to become young, successful adults. The statistics in foster care are staggering, where most of these kids end up. A huge percentage of people in prison have spent time in foster care. They're also at high risk to do other things like addiction, drugs, alcohol, or possibly rob you in a blind alley, a dark alley one night. I mean, they turn to crime. They're also at a high risk to be sex trafficked and human trafficked. So we are, it's very difficult work, but it's also very rewarding. And that's, Ed went with us to a family picnic up there one day and was just really touched by the children. Not to mention, he's been a teacher over 30 years in Meridian. So he's had children from Hope Village that he's taught. So he was really touched and was just like, we can raise money for these kids. I mean, this is bigger than just Meridian. This is foster care. It can help y'all provide your services and enhance your services better. So that's how this got started.
Excellent.
Okay, very good. And there is a website, Hope Village MS, I believe it is, .com. And if I got that wrong,
it's .org. Hope Village
.org.
.org, I'm sorry. If I did get it wrong, but in the descriptions, you will see a link to that and where you can donate some money. What kind of goal are you talking about here?
Well, Ed has a very lofty goal because, he does things big, just like the Race Across America, which we are going to finish. All of us are going to crew for him.
Great attitude. Yes.
We are not mentioning the word DNF at all. He's not allowed to say that anymore. So his goal is $1 million. But let me say this. He came to us with this idea of a fundraiser. And so any amount that we make, this is not a fundraiser that we normally do. We do have a smaller annual fundraiser that we do. It's a run, but it doesn't make anywhere close to that. So anything that we make, we are so grateful for.
Excellent.
So, and we weren't expecting it. But it will be great for our services. Our campus is aging. Our buildings were built in the 60s. They all need new roofs. So there are lots of benefits that would directly positively impact the children in our care. So we're really excited about it. And hey, $1 million would be great. We're trying to raise sponsorship money right now so we can cover the cost of RAAM and all the crew. And once we get to the point where we feel we have that, which we're, estimating between 30 and 35,000 is what we're going to try to get, then everything else will go to Hope Village directly on top of that. And anything we have left over will go to Hope Village. So we're really, really excited about that.
Excellent.
Okay. Well, let's get Ed back up here.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Yes, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Great job.
What he's doing, I was thinking, I don't know what the records for donations are, but I think probably the Rotary Club, their teams over the years have come up with pretty close to 2 million. So, we're right up there in the big time, Ed.
Definitely.
Well, I apologize. I cannot remember he's a Canadian writer. And what was the name of the book?
I know who you mean. Yeah, we've had him on the show.
Right, and he kind of gave me the idea. First off, let me tell you this: I've been in Meridian for 30 years. This is my 30th year, so I love it. And Clint put together a race for practice, which was a ride around Mississippi. We did the entire perimeter. Kevin was with us. It was 1,167 miles. We did it in 4 days. 3 hours and 16 minutes, and it gave us an idea of what we were going to need. But I wanted to attach it to something, so we attached it to Mary Hope, which is one of our Victorian homes. And people said, well, I can't believe you do all that stuff. I said, I love Mississippi and I love Meridian. They gave me a home and they, but Hope Village was special to me. Like I said, like Kathy said, I've been teaching for 30 years and I've taught a lot of those kids. And one of the things I told the Rotary Club, which was just a couple of months ago, I said, they come in with despair in their hearts, but Hope Village gives them dignity. And so don't ever look at those kids as, despair or with despair. They may come that way and broken, but everything that they provide up there is amazing. And, they're angels, every last one of them. And, that family night that we went to was one of the most incredible experiences. Just sitting there and talking with some of these kids, and I just was like, this has got to be done, and and it can't be done with just a few. So I encourage teachers. I told some of my teaching friends, and I said, look, donate $25. I was in the service for 26 years. Been to three different wars. I'm an old guy, so I was in Grenada in '83 and first Gulf War 1991, and then I was in Iraq from 2003 to 2004. I'm encouraging all my brothers and sisters out there that have served to, if they're watching this, to click on that QR code and send in 10 or 20 or $25, what you can do. All this is going to go to better these children's lives.
Definitely.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, we wish you well, and we hope that you are able to do that. Let's get back to brass tacks a little bit here. I'm going to ask my traditional question, Jim, and then I'll let you.
Okay.
Ed, when you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and think about this, what 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 do you think about when you think about RAAM? What's on your mind?
Well, it goes both ways. A lot of the times I'm excited. And, I think about getting to Annapolis. I think about, the trip to California and dipping my front tire in the Pacific, and then going to Annapolis and dipping my front tire in the Atlantic, and hugging on all these folks. And, because without them, it doesn't get done. I'm just pedaling the bike. They're doing all the work. And I'm grateful for them. Kathy said something about, I was kind of not upset, just worried about, asking these people to come and crew for 17, 18 days of their life. And she says, we love you. And that's all you need to know. And we'll be there for you. So don't worry about it. But yeah, 4 o'clock in the morning, that's what I think about. But there's also times where I'm a little anxious too. I'm 59 and I'll actually age up because I'll turn 60 on September 7th of 2024. So I age up to 60. And I know what the statistics are. I've been to, the general, dog it, it'll come to me, but he wrote A Million Pedal Strokes, and
Keith Wolcott.
Yeah, Keith Wolcott. And we have talked, and he was 57 when he did it, and we talked a lot about what I need to do. And he was a rookie, which was even better. But I read his book, and I but he's also got a great website, and it tells you exactly who's done it, when they did it, whether they were official or not official or DNF or whatever. And I know what the statistics are. So yeah, at 4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I look at the ceiling and go, okay, are you really going to be able to do this? And then I got these guys behind me saying, oh, hell yeah, you can.
Yes, definitely.
And I put in miles. I put in 220, 250 miles. I'll wake up at 4:30 and I'll ride to school because I've got a great boss. I got great colleagues, and they know what I'm trying to do. They've been listening to it for 6 years. I've been talking about this race. And, when you sit there and you say, hey, I'm going to go ride 3,000 miles in 12 days, they're like, yeah, whatever. And then all of a sudden they start seeing you doing the Natchez Trace 444 and then the Bike Around Mississippi. And for the band at our school, I raised money by doing a 24-hour challenge. I was going to do it anyways. And I told them, I said, look, I'm going to do this. If you want to raise money off of it, we can do, $1 a mile or whatever. And I think I did, 357 miles. And of course, these guys were with me, making sure that I didn't fall asleep. But,
They did.
Yeah, but they
They didn't know what they were signing up for, did they, Ed?
yeah, but they know. So
Yes.
they're really good with me, and they let me, like I'll ride to work, and then do what I have to do, and then I'll ride back home. So I'm putting in about 220, 250 miles a week, and
Great.
plus races. So, but I have some anxiety about, it's just, we talked about weight, that's an issue. I'm a big rider. I'm over 200 pounds. And, it's something that whenever I say I'm going to do something like, hey, I'm going to ride around Mississippi, they look at you like you're nuts. And, and I think some of that's got to do with, my weight. They don't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Even the guys that I ride with, my team, I have, Magnolia State Cycle has a team, and we ride together. And they'll look at you when you go to these races. They're like, "Oh, who's this guy? Oh man, he signed up for RAAM." Oh, right. And then we'll get on the road, and I'll never see him again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's part of the anxiety, I guess, and then the age comes in. But
Gotcha.
I've got the legs, and and I know my heart's good.
There you go. Exactly.
As long as I can keep my mind focused, which these guys are going to make sure that
Yep.
stays, intact, I
Yep.
should be okay.
Gotcha. Speaking of such, Kevin, as the crew chief, do you have a plan set up for the Race Across America that you're going to try to follow explicitly, or are you going to try to maybe have a plan and go as well as you can to it?
That's a great question. What I've discovered with a lot of these types of things is you make a plan and then something comes up and it crashes. So we've all talked, and when we did the ride around Mississippi, it was really fascinating to work with these guys and realize how adaptive they are and how good they are at solving problems, especially under duress.
Mm-hmm.
So, while we have a basic plan of what to do, a lot of time, I think we'll be able to adapt it. Read a lot of the same books that Eddie was talking about, and have a lot of faith in the crew to be able to solve problems. And the reality is they're all better than me. I just got a title, so when we're out there doing all these things, the crew's going to make it work really well. It was a lot of fun. The ride around Mississippi was incredibly valuable. We went out. People are like, why do you ride around there in July when it's so hot? And I was like, well, that was kind of the plan. And so, we learned about hydration.
Yeah.
We learned how much water Ed's going to go through, what types of foods are going to work. And, some of the ideas we had for food, it was like, I don't want to eat that. And I was like, all right, well, got to figure a few things out, adjusting to fatigue, for the crew, how to keep, going. And we did a third of the RAAM basically and learned a ton. So we have a basic idea of what we want to do. And then from there, we're just going to adapt as need be to make sure we can get Ed across the finish line. So I've talked to people who have been crew chiefs and done a lot of RAAM, and they told me that I have to get my coercion and lying skills up to snuff. So I've been playing a lot of poker, trying to figure out how to keep a straight face when I'm trying to coerce somebody into doing something.
Excellent.
And there's a few tricks that I was told that seemed quite valuable, and I refuse to even let Ed in on them because I don't want him to have an inkling what's going on when I'm giving him a con job to keep going. So
there you go. Now, how are you going to handle his sleep? Have you got a plan for that, or is it going to just be when he needs it, you're gonna do it?
So
a little of both. Ed, fill him in.
Yeah. So one of the things that Kevin and Clint and Kathy and of course Bailey doesn't know just yet. We're going to try and get a 5-minute break, and Kevin's a stickler about 5 minutes. Like, put your shoes on it. Okay, so every 3 hours, I want to get off the bike for 5 minutes, and that's going to be for anything like I have a problem with hot feet, and I know a lot of people do. Sometimes, like the 444, I got it at 176 miles, and I was crushed. I thought, oh my God, this is it. So we went and I changed shoes. And one of the crew members that's not here, who's been on most of these rides with me, is Chris Perry. He grabs my foot. Now he's a massage. He's going to be doing all my massage stuff, but he started pulling my toes. Well, I'm going to tell you, when he did that and massaged my foot, but pulling my toes and releasing all that gas inside those toes, when I put on those shoes, I was good for the next 300 miles. Never felt anything. So, we learned, but so every 3 hours we want 5 minutes, and Kevin's going to be out there at 4 minutes and 45 seconds saying, hey dude, put your shoes on like now.
Yeah.
And then I'm on the bike at 4 minutes and 52 seconds, and they're pushing me off. And then after, and we'll do that, but we're hoping to get about 280, maybe 300 miles in about 20 hours. And then, that'll give me a 30 minutes to get undressed, get a massage. I've got some stuff that's going to get the lactic acid out of my legs.
Mm-hmm.
These sleeves that go over your legs, we'll do that, and then I'll shower, get a little bite to eat, and then I'll go to bed and hopefully get about 3 hours of sleep, and then get up and have 30 minutes to get dressed and get on the bike and do it again. If it works.
Yep.
It
No, not if, it will.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, yes.
Right, you're
Yep.
right, you're right.
Yep.
But we, just like Kevin said, we'll have a plan B and a plan C.
Yeah.
In case something does go amiss.
Yeah.
I don't know about the mountains right now. I can tell you this. The only three times I've done the Natchez Trace, going through the mountains of Tennessee, and they are not like Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I blasted through the mountains. And, George had checked on me a couple of times because I think he was leery of how quick I was going through. And the first time Clint was young, and the crew chief at the time was Bob Sample, and he said, "Ed, you got to slow down. You're going too fast. You're 18 miles an hour, 19 miles an hour. You got to slow down." And every time I've done Natchez Trace, I've been able to blister through. Joe Barr made a comment. He said, "I don't know what happened to you. You blasted through the mountains. You were looking like you were going to do it in 24 hours. And then all of a sudden you come in and it's 28 hours. What happened?" I said, "Well, I got off the bike to eat." He goes, "No eating off the bike." So I learned something from Joe.
Yep.
In 2022. And so 2023, I told Kathy, I don't want any time off the bike unless I have to use the facilities or my toes pop. 22 minutes I was off the bike. We finished it in 26 hours and 13 minutes.
Awesome. Great job.
But it worked. And it was because of these guys behind me and beside me.
Excellent. Clint, as the mechanic, how many bikes are you preparing for Ed? And is there different types of bikes you're going to take?
Well, so that changes sometimes, but yes, at the moment we're planning to bring 3, and we have a little different drivetrain set up for the 3 different wheel options, depending on what phase of the ride he's in, and we're prepared for some different adversities that we may or may not encounter. So we've got a couple of options just planning ahead there.
Excellent.
I don't like to say it, but they're all Bianchis. So
hey, awesome.
Let's get that out of the way.
That makes Shauna feel good.
There you go.
Listen, but you have a bike shop, so let's get a plug in here for your
Definitely.
shop.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, it's Magnolia State Cycles. Ed was ragging on me because I don't have my shirt on. And
Magnolia State Cycles, okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it there in Meridian?
Well, it's actually out of Enterprise, Mississippi, but the surrounding area of Meridian.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Excellent.
Very good.
Excellent. Kevin, as far as follow cars or vehicles, how many vehicles are you taking this for RAAM 2024? And are you setting up a van, or what are you doing with that?
So, some of that depends on how much money we have to spend.
Gotcha.
What type of luxury we're going to go with.
We got that. Kathy and I we were just discussing that. So, and Kevin, I think we're going to be okay, but we were going to talk to you today about it. So I'll let Kathy tell you what we're going to get.
Well, we don't have confirmation, but we're working on getting 3 or 4 vehicles. It'll just depend, but at least 2 vans and then a smaller vehicle, which will be like the grocery car, the laundry car, that kind of thing. But we're working on getting an in-kind donor or someone that will just be that they'll be a major sponsor on Ed's jersey, giving us the money for the mileage, the rental, and the gas. But that's our hope, and we'll see how it goes. We're going to have enough room for everybody that way.
Yeah,
we're
going to leave Mississippi.
This is the kind of things that kind of pop up that you have to adapt to all of a sudden. So
there you go.
There we go. So we'll have to make up a new one.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So yeah, but what we had done and what we'd learned around the ride around Mississippi is you always have to have a follow car. Right?
Yep.
And so we'll have that one that's really well equipped in terms of taking care of Ed.
Yes.
So, the idea is not have to go to hotels. We can just, find a place and stop the ride and sleep to save time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a background coaching biathlon, skiing and shooting, and we were
Wow.
looking to shave tenths of seconds. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm kind of bringing that mentality of that's what like Ed was saying, like, no, you have 5 minutes, get on the bike and go, because all those 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds add up
Add
to
up.
hours.
There you
And,
go.
and I'd rather miss by a day than miss by 20 minutes, because you can
Exactly.
find those 20 minutes. So, so we're trying to set things up so that Ed's distance from bike to sleep and back to bike is 20 feet. Because if you put that in seconds, there's 20 seconds of time that, because once you leave, that clock's running
Mm-hmm.
and nobody cares, right? So you got to make every second, every foot count. And then in order to support that vehicle, now if we had two vans, that's great. Because one thing we learned on the ride to Mississippi is keeping the crew rested is vitally important. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it was so Chris Perry, who Ed was talking about before, he and I were in the car together, and that was just kind of happened by accident, and it was a really great fit. The two of us can talk a blue streak, so we kept each other going with that. And but one morning I forget about what time it was. I think we were in the Mississippi Delta, and we handed off Ed to Clint, and Chris and I went and got a hotel. We were just so beat. We had slept in the car, and we didn't really rest or feel rested.
Mm-hmm.
So we went and grabbed a hotel room at 6 o'clock in the morning. They're like, checkout's at 11. We're like, uh-huh. So we went in, and we were awakened when the cleaning crew came in to clean up the hotel room. We got up, and that 5 hours was magical. And
Yes.
we were still tired, but we were physically tired. And it's also part of the thing too is sitting in a car for that long. That's exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's like I always wanted to be an astronaut and thought about going to the moon until we sat in a car going around Mississippi. It was like
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So um having a second hand to take care of the crew to be able to do that is great. And then as Kathy was saying, another vehicle that can run errands for us. And
Definitely.
what we're hoping to do with the rotation of the crew is one crew is just off. And when
Yep.
you're off, you're off, and go take care of yourself. If you want to go to a museum, great. You want to go to
Mm-hmm.
sleep, great. You want to go for a bike ride, do that. But make sure when your turn to come back on that you are physically and mentally prepared and rested so
Ready to
that
go. Yeah.
we can mostly take care of Ed, but we don't start doing stupid things and giving those seconds away,
Gotcha.
and so we found that's really important.
Lee?
Well, listen, we want to thank you guys for being on tonight and
Yep.
taking time to talk with us. We appreciate that. We wish you well. We wish you a good ride, a safe ride, and we hope that you raise a whole bunch of money for Hope Village down there. That sounds like a
Definitely.
great project.
Yep.
Um,
And we can't wait to see you come through our Ohio time stations on the way to the finish
absolutely,
line.
We'll
absolutely.
be there. We'll be
Yes.
there.
Well,
And
Like
Jim,
I said, I got to mention Bailey here. She just came out of the blue and said, "Hey, I think I want to be a part of your crew," and I just about fell out.
that's
oh,
awesome.
great.
Out. So,
Yep.
That'll be a great experience, life changing experience. Anyhow, well, Jim, I don't think we really got any takers, did we?
No, we actually had a good viewership, but nobody commented
Yeah,
enough.
I had pretty good.
So
But
we'll do it again next week and see what happens.
yeah, and Greg's going to get a mouse pad anyhow.
There you go. Exactly.
Comes with being that's part of his pay.
There you go.
Well, that's all of his pay.
Excellent. All right.
Okay, Greg, we love you, and we thank everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your
Yes.
comments. We wish you well, and mind how you go.
There you go. And we'll go out of here with the great words.
Greg Zuber.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.